Hello and welcome back. My name is Aleisha and if you're new here, if you're not new here, the same deal goes. My name is Aleisha and I like to, well, I'm heading to Canada. So I'm headed overseas to Canada for 2 years on a working holiday visa, and I thought it might be nice to tell you some of the things that I'm doing to make sure that I'm prepared to move overseas for 2 years. The first thing I did was I applied for my visa well in advance. Like, as soon as I decided where I wanted to go, I applied for the visa. So this was maybe 5 months out. I applied for this visa. I didn't book my flights until it was closer to the time. I still think I booked them slightly before I got the visa. But I'm really glad that I booked it well in advance because it took longer than it was supposed to, regardless. But also the Canadian government went on strike during the process of my visa, which was supposed to only take, I believe it's 6 to 8 weeks to get the visa finalized. I also had to do extra parts to get this visa. So for Canada you have to get biometrics done, which I could see on the website, but they kind of hold or put your progress on pause until you go and get these biometrics done. So being prepared and applying for visas well in advance is definitely something worth doing. So with the working holiday in particular, when it comes to the working holiday visa, there's actually a lot of companies that you can go through. So when I googled it on my laptop, there are a bunch of places that come up that will help you through the process, potentially find your job in the ski lifts or anything like that. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to study in New Zealand and I wanted to have a bit more freedom in what I chose to do. I wanted to probably stick with like a barista or a serving job so I could work 25 to 30 hours and still study close to full time. The next thing was I got myself set up with a travel card in terms of money. So there's a travel visa, or a Wise card I believe it's called. It's by Visa. Basically you can store money in loads of different currencies on there. So I've got New Zealand and Canadian currency. I just exchange it at one rate, at a lower rate. Do this before, or not before. The card I think takes maybe a week to show up and they can mail it to you. Works quite well. So I'm only going to use that for the first couple of weeks and then potentially look into getting a Canadian bank account. So it's only temporary, but it's a good temporary solution. Make sure you look into jobs or where you want to stay a little bit before you go, or potentially have references, everything like that lined up and printed off. That's the last thing you want to be doing, is going through and having to hassle with all of that. The fourth one on my list is packing. So I've started putting the things that I want to wear a week and a bit out now. The things that I definitely want to take that I'm probably not going to use in my suitcase or near my suitcase, and in piles. My room is a mess, except for the part behind me. My room is a mess, but I've got it in a way that it makes sense to me, and I'm not using things that I would then have to wash, and I don't have heaps of laundry. So there'll just be a few things that I'll need to wash and add to my bag. Otherwise I'm mostly packed or organized in a way that I would pack. The other thing is like making a packing list. A list of things that you know you're going to want to take, or where you're going to want to put them. Make sure you check it twice. Make sure you have everything, because the last thing you want is be halfway over the world and not have something rather important like a charger or a passport or something that's very hard to replace. So the fifth and final piece of advice or tip that I have if you're heading overseas for an extended period of time, or if you're just heading overseas, is confer with locals or somebody that lives there or has experienced life there in the past, or potentially has even holidayed there, just because it gives you a different perspective on what somebody else thought about things. And don't just ask one person, ask around, get different opinions, different views. In my case, I've been asking Chase. I've been trying to ask him questions, especially regarding like flatting, and their flatting situation is different and all of this sort of stuff, which I can go into depth later. If you'd like another video regarding some of the differences I've already discovered before I've even left, comment that down below, and it definitely can be something I sort out or arrange. Regardless, what they think are things that you must go and see. You may find some like less popular but really unique things to do and places to see. I feel like I'm very fortunate in this way because he's offered to take me on a road trip. And so I will be able to see lots of his like favorite parts of Canada, or potentially things that he hasn't seen yet that's wanted to see. Those are the 5 things that I have done in an attempt to be more prepared to head overseas. I know that still things I will miss, still things that are going to scare me and I'm not going to be prepared for, but I'm doing my best to be as prepared as possible. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that other people can take away from this. Eventually I'll probably go over my mistakes and people can learn from those as well. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed, and please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you get notified when I upload. Also that like button just to let me know that you've enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Till then, peace out.
All I need are some better days, 'cause all I want, and I pray, I believe